Hello, welcome to my channel. Recently, I have posted a few scriptures in shorts. Two of them was of Ephesians 5 and 1 Peter 3. And I want to talk about those two specifically because there are some women and some men who purposely, just basically what they do is that they only mention where it says wives submit to your husbands and just leave it there. They don't tell the full truth of what the whole scripture says in those chapters. And they do it on purpose because they basically want to make it out like as if that it gives men permission to be abusive toward their wives, which isn't the case at all. Now, some of the women that do this, they do it to justify their hatred toward men, and also want to justify them, being disagreeable with either God or Apostle Paul or Apostle Peter. With the men that do this, some of them do it for the same reasons that the feminists do, and others do it because they want to excuse themselves in trying to be abusive toward their wives. Now, when you read the rest of those two particular scriptures, it tells husbands, the Lord is telling husbands through Apostle Paul and Apostle Peter to love their wives, to sacrifice for the wife as Jesus did for the church, to honor their wives. And if they don't honor their wives, then their prayers will be hindered. In other words, if a husband does not honor or love his wife, God is not going to hear his prayers. Simply put. But again, those feminists and those men that just want to twist those scriptures, they conveniently leave that last part out to justify their anger, to justify their hatred, to justify their want of control. That's what that's about. But it's simply put, when you read the whole thing together, God is telling wives to, obey their husbands, respect the men's role as the head of the home. Because there's another scripture in the New Testament where it says that God the Father is head over Jesus, then Jesus Christ is head above the man, and then the man is head above the woman, and then, woman the children. Or actually, I don't remember if it says woman over children, but basically, it just talks about, places, it talks about authority. And yes, men are supposed to have authority over the wife. But notice, though, that it only applies to husbands and wives. It doesn't apply to boyfriends and girlfriends. But just because it says to women, be obedient to your husbands, to be submissive to your husbands, it doesn't mean that she's not allowed to have a say-so, that she has to pretty much... It's not saying to the women that we have to be practically the man's slave. That's not what that means at all. It means we respect his authority as head of the household above us. That's basically what it is. And for the men, again, they are to love and honor their wives. So basically, overall, God is not giving one person permission to be controlling over the other. He's not telling the wives that they're allowed to control their husbands, to belittle them, or to try to put them down under their thumb, and same vice versa with the men. He's not giving men permission to do that. He has not given the women permission to do that. He's basically telling men and women, how we're supposed to love and support each other in marriage. And honestly, even psychologists would say that love and respect is what really, helps keep a relationship together. The more that a woman respects a man, the more the man loves the woman. The more the man loves the woman, the more she respects him. That's usually how that goes. The only way it doesn't go that way is if one or both people in the relationship tries to, act selfish and tries to, disrupt how things are supposed to be. I mean, take for example, the reason why the fall happened was because Eve tried to, destroy the balance between her and Adam. She tried to switch roles, and well, we are where we are. So, ladies, instead of, looking at wives being obedient in a negative way and taking it way too seriously in a negative light, how about you actually try to consider what the Lord is actually trying to tell you through those scriptures? He's not giving men permission to demean you. He's not giving men permission to abuse you or harm you. He's just telling you that you are to obey the husband and you respect him. Support him when he needs your support. Be there for him when he needs you to be there. Don't belittle him. Don't try to control him. Don't try to wear the pants. It's honestly that simple. And for you men who want to also twist that scripture to excuse yourselves in abusing your wives, put your thumb down your wife, sirs, I don't care how much you pray to the Lord, your prayers are being hindered. God is not listening to you because you're not honoring your wife. In fact, there's a situation that happened some years ago. It was with someone who knew my husband's family. He was being very verbally abusive toward his wife. And he literally heard God say to him one day, "Stop whipping my daughter with your tongue." And that man happened to be a pastor. He was a pastor and he was being verbally abusive toward his wife. And he heard God say to him, "Stop whipping my daughter with your tongue." After that, he came to realize what he was doing. And as far as I know, he repented of it, started treating his wife better. Not one person has permission from the Lord to act in abusive or controlling way over the other. We're to love and respect each other. And I don't know why people have got to make, I don't know why people are trying to make that complicated. It really isn't. It's very simple and easy to understand. But then again, you got those that purposely try to complicate it, purposely try to confuse things because they're selfish and they just, want to have an excuse to stay selfish. But that's all I got to say on that. Shalom.